Hello everyone, I'm Yamino, the artist of Sister Claire, and I'm joined tonight by...
The one, the only, the incredible, the indelible Ash Barnes. I write the missing moments, and I help Eleanor write the comic. How y'all doing tonight?
How's everybody doing? I need to know what I should draw for the wallpaper, because I actually have not given it any thought. It's October themed, so I would like it to be a little bit Halloween-y.
Last year was Abraham throwing a pumpkin. Or she was just holding it.
It was Abraham posed like the Headless Horseman.
Yeah.
Today's is going to be a sketchy wallpaper, I guess, like last time.
You can do that, yeah.
I can maybe add simple color. It depends what it is. If it's a really detailed picture, I'll probably keep it a black and white sketch.
Grant said jack-o'-lantern carving.
Mm-hmm.
That's a thought.
Yeah, I feel like pumpkins should be involved somewhere, somehow. Maybe the cats as well, or at least Grimm. Has there been any wallpaper featuring Grimm? I feel like Grimm must have been somewhere in one of them. And I can't think about it. I can't think.
I'm sure Grimm was in the one where Claire is there with the fireflies.
Yeah, Grimm was in that one. But Grimm was not featured. There were like a million cats in that picture.
Yeah.
This could be a pretty Grimm-specific one.
You could draw a baby Grimm climbing out of a pumpkin.
Mm-hmm.
That could be cute as hell.
I have drawn baby Grimm somewhere.
I know the moment.
Yeah, if you could,
moment. You want me to
send
find
it
it?
to me, yeah. There's actually maybe one or two drawings I've done of baby Grimm. There was like fresh baby Grimm, like freshly converted Grimm, which looks like a ball of furry death.
Yes. That was actually what I was gonna...
Oh, is that what you're gonna send me?
Yeah.
Okay.
This one.
Yeah. Oh my god. Can you send me that link so I can open it up?
Yes. I love this picture of Grimm so much. I can't send it to you because you're
you can
not...
post it in the chat. Post it in the chat right here.
See, you're smart.
I'm so smart. Okay. Look at this. Look at these, like, peppermint eyes.
Yeah. I really love that version of Grimm. Hi, Lara.
Hello. It's that time of season where I want to start blaring boys and girls of every age. Wouldn't you like to see something strange? Come with us and you will see this our town of Halloween.
Happy birthday, Proxy.
Hey, happy birthday!
Laura asks if you're practicing drawing your nemesis, circles.
Yeah, well, you know what? Circles aren't usually my nemesis unless I'm inking in Manga Studio, because I have a setting in Manga Studio that tries to smooth my lines and, in other words, make them a little more straight. And when I'm drawing Claire's head, her head does not want to be drawn in straight lines. It wants to be drawn in curves. And that doesn't work out very well usually. I'm making this pumpkin a little bit too perfect.
Yeah, make it lumpy.
I'm going to look at pumpkins. When are we going to get some pumpkins?
I was figuring we would this weekend.
Yes. Can we go to a pumpkin patch?
Yes.
King of the pumpkin patch.
Grant just reminded me, too. Grant says the state fair is coming to town soon.
I wish you guys could have seen how I threw my head back and, like, sucked in air in excitement just now.
It was,
I love the state fair. Yet another thing to look forward to as the weather starts to get more and more miserable here. I'm blaming that less on fall and winter, though, and more on Hurricane Matthew. Well, maybe if this is supposed to be clear, it can be perfect. Everybody else can be lumpy. Lumper.
Oscar can be really long.
Yeah.
Long, narrow pumpkin. Catherine Pumpkin can be heart-shaped.
Uh-huh.
Laura doesn't know what a state fair is.
A state fair is where you go to see the biggest vegetables and animals that your state can create.
Kind of.
And you can also be horrified by said animals when you experience them in ways you never thought animals could be experienced.
Elena.
I'm remembering some particularly visceral memories from the last year. Ash is giving me the look that says, stop right now.
Yeah, just quit while you're ahead, darling. Yikes.
That'll be saved for the not safe for work stream.
God.
And there's also, fair food. So there's that.
Yeah, a lot of people in the chat are talking about fair food, and Laura said, okay, but is there food for humans to eat? Because that is essential. Yes, Laura, there is every kind of fried food known to man.
It's not the kind of food I would recommend eating on a regular basis or even multiple times at the fair. Like, I would suggest picking one and not going overboard because you will feel sick from all the fried things.
Yeah. There's things like
fried apple pie or fried pumpkin pie on a stick.
Fried pickles, fried Oreos. Let's see, what else? Fried candy bars in general.
They have alligator tails.
Yeah.
But they're $10, and I've never wanted that badly to try them.
They've got giant, glistening with fat turkey legs.
Oh, yes, I do like those.
Elena just got this gleam in her eye.
There's just something really satisfying about holding a gigantic leg of meat and feeling like a cave person as you're gnawing it and it's dribbling all over your face and your hand.
One of the first times I ever went to the state fair, okay, Babby Ash story time. So as I was growing up here in the marvelous, miraculous state of North Carolina, my mom and dad never took me to the state fair because they said it was too crowded. So when I became a college student, one of my friends heard about this and sought to remedy this just grievous error that had been committed upon my person. And that was Ryan. And my friend Ryan took me to the state fair, and we wandered around, and I was just astonished at all of the deep-fried foods and the rides and everything. And I had never, ever in my life seen a giant turkey leg before, let alone a vast spread of them being grilled on, a piece of fencing that someone probably pulled out of a ditch somewhere. But Ryan and I purchased turkey legs, and I attempted to eat mine, and it was delicious, but I could only eat a portion of it. Ryan, meanwhile, was devouring, first he finished mine, and then he started in on his. And as he was devouring his, we got in line for the swings, which is just this big, help me describe the swings, Elena.
It's like a carousel, except instead of riding on little horses that go up and down, you're on swings that swing outward into heaven.
Yeah.
Really ridiculously high. Some people love it, like me, and some people are absolutely petrified and shit their pants just at the thought of looking up at people on it.
Yeah, well, I like it. And
I love it.
Yeah, and so does Ryan. And we were waiting in line for the swings, and we thought we would have to wait in line for quite a long time. We were mistaken. When we reached the gate to go into the ride, Ryan still had not finished eating his turkey leg. So what does he do? I will never forget this. Okay, imagine my very tall, broad-shouldered, blonde friend unzipping his leather jacket and then tucking to his bosom this half-eaten turkey leg and then zipping his jacket up over it.
That's, That's really similar to what I did with the hot dog pieces at the dog park yesterday. We went to the dog park with Rosie, and we were trying to do a little bit more training with her because since just in the 3 days that we were away at a convention, she started to kind of backtrack on her training and not come with when called and stuff. So we wanted to practice a little more. And the best way to keep her focus is to use a really smelly food like hot dog chunks. And so I cut up a bunch of hot dogs and I put them in my little training bag that I hang on my on my waist. And immediately I was besieged by all these gigantic hounds who were like jumping on me and like snuffing at the bag at my hip. And I was like, this will not do. And so I took the bag and I just like tucked it into my bosom. Some of the dogs were still big enough to try to jump up on me, but I was able to more easily elbow them away.
Just for reference, y'all, it looked like Elena had a third boob made of hot dogs.
Yeah, I had this like weird lumpy third boob. I was embarrassed. I had to explain to every person at the dog park, I have hot dogs, and that's why your dogs are attacking my third boob. Like, it's fine. Everybody probably thought, God, why is she sacrificing herself like this? But literally all the dogs are jumping on me.
Oh. But I'm, yeah, I just had an eyelash in my mouth. That's so gross. Yeah. Anyway, I'm really excited because not only is the state fair coming soon, but my father-in-law is coming soon, and it's fun hanging out with him and listening to him complain about various American things. Okay, I wasn't going to say that because I don't think it's funny when he complains about you. It just makes me want to hurt things, or just like drag my fingernails down my face. But no, I think it's funny to hear him complain about various American or North Carolinian things.
Or how about how he rearranges our kitchen? So he puts all of our utensils and everything in the oven for some reason. And the one time I decide to actually use our oven and turn it on, all of our valuables are in there. And I melt everything in the kitchen. And then he's like, why did you do this? And I'm like, me? Why did I do this?
All of our valuables are incinerated and turned into a pile of molten slag.
Why would you do this? I know why he does it. It's because at my parents' house in Belgium, we don't have any storage space, so they have to store things in the oven. It's like this little extra cupboard that they use, but we actually have space at our house and use the actual cupboards to store things.
But I'm excited to see him, and I'm excited because next weekend I get to go visit the turkey leg hiding Ryan up in DC, and that's going to be a lot of fun. And I don't know what we're going to do exactly, but it will be glorious, whatever it is. I hope it doesn't rain the whole time. I like the picture.
Thanks.
Joe said, please bring a small bag for Ryan so he can store his turkey legs without ruining his shirt.
Gemologist is here.
Hi, gemologist.
No.
Oh, stretch.
God, look at Grim.
I love Grim so much.
I love Grim too.
Gemologist wants to know, how are we tonight?
I'm doing good.
And I'm good.
I took a pretty long nap today, so I'm feeling pretty alright.
For a minute, I thought you said you took a pretty long nap today. I was about to be like, when? Did I miss this?
I took a nap day?
I thought you meant that I had taken a nap. And I was like, no, I
took
didn't.
A really great nap driving here. It's okay. I took the wheel. Just like Jesus.
Aw, Wishing for Memoria said that they're tired and sick, but they haven't been to a live draw in so long. They wanted to stay up for this.
Aw.
Oh, I saw your comment in the tag today, darling, about how much you love Sister Claire. Thank you for saying so.
That's really sweet. Thank you.
That gives my heart wings.
Just like Red Bull.
Yes. I want to clarify that I've said that gives my heart wings, not that gives me hot wings. Okay, I realize.
Oh, that just gives me hot wings.
Riggy's over there with a winky face like, I bought the not safe for work package. Well, we'll see you tomorrow night, darling.
Yes, we will.
Yo.
I'm excited for that.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
I don't know that it's obvious that this is supposed to be Oscar. It just looks like a really sexy pumpkin.
I think it's cute. The pumpkin can't really have sparkles. Maybe you could draw little embers around it instead. What was I about to say? Oh yeah, Laura had a question. Laura said, about the last missing moment. One thing I never understood, how does Eden keep shards out? A combination of lots of water plus Clementine plus warding? Because that hardly sounds different from Thorn and Mare to me. That's a good question. I think you must be thinking about the foreshadowing to Eden. That is mentioned when Clementine talks about how people can come live with her in her giant tree. I'm glad someone noticed that. Because I was very proud of it.
This morning in the car, Ash was like, so what do you think about that foreshadowing in the missing moment? I'm like, what foreshadowing? I had noticed it when I read it, but I didn't know what you were referring to, and I could see you being like, No, I did see it. I just needed to know what you were referring to. This is really weird, all of these Claire-themed pumpkins.
You said it's weird?
Yeah, I'm not sure I like the Catherine pumpkin.
The
Is
Catherine
me
pumpkin
out.
looks too sexy, okay? Like, that one is really flipping me out.
I'm not even trying to make them look sexy, it's just, I can't help it! I guess it's because it looks like it's coming onto the Claire pumpkin, which is not helping anything. You know, I think it was a good idea, but I think I'm gonna scrap having them actually look like Oscar and Catherine because it's too creepy. Oh. I think I'll just have them be like maybe cat faces. Because that's what Claire would want. I can put the Sailor Mew cats. Do they have pumpkins in Brazil? Does fall exist in Brazil? Probably not.
Laura, there are questions for you about Brazil. Laura says, no. I guess that's in reference to the pumpkins. And she says, I mean, we have fall, but it's a tropical country, so no orange leaves. Aw, someone called Kaylin Cunny said, hi, I'm new and I'm shy.
Hi.
Hello, dear heart.
Thank you for coming.
Yes. Welcome, welcome. We should introduce ourselves again.
I'm Yamino.
And I'm Ash.
I am the one who's drawing right now.
And I'm the one who will usually laugh maniacally in the background and occasionally snort and embarrass myself. And I do a lot of voices. Well, so does Elena.
I also sing sometimes.
Me too. I'm the one who sings badly. There we go.
It's not bad.
Oh, that's right. Laura says there are pumpkins in Brazil, just not a lot of orange ones. Aw, bye, Jamie. Wish you could stay. Hope to see you tomorrow. Can I have a sip of your tea?
Yeah.
There's a single boba left in there. Go ahead, fish it out. I don't desire it.
I can't get it. I can't find it.
Oh, Deep Inside a Volcano asked earlier when we're going to put our videos on YouTube.
Soon. I just keep getting sidetracked with other things. I can actually post them. Yeah, I've already uploaded them. I just haven't edited like the pictures to go as thumbnails and stuff like that. It's not quite as easy as just uploading them. I also have to make thumbnails and add the links to our comic and things like that. But I can try to do that a little sooner. I always was under the impression that not many people cared because nobody ever comments or likes them. So I'm like, well, I guess I got other priorities. But if somebody's actually waiting on it, I'll try to do it a little sooner.
Laura asked another question about Eden. Said, am I correct in assuming Eden's method of keeping shards out is one of the reasons that made Catherine, Oscar, and all the gods and also goats go, Clementine, no! I never said anything about Clementine keeping shards out.
I love Grimm. I guess I could do this as a colored piece, since this sketch took me so little time.
Clever Pepper, that's a cute idea. They said, think you could add Snowy wearing a witch hat?
I thought about adding Snowy, but because if I was going to make this canon, Grimm is a baby, so Snowy wouldn't be alive yet.
That's true.
But I did include all of the sailor cats.
Mm-hmm.
There's Moon Cat, Venus Cat, Mercury Cat, Mars Cat, and Jupiter Cat. I feel like every time I introduce them or I show them in the comic, other people notice them for the first time ever.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, wow, there's planetary symbols on those cats. And I'm like, you don't say. Take a look at the cover of book 1.
Well, not everyone has book 1.
I know, but I think it's on the website. Or is it? I'm not sure now.
Deep inside, a volcano said, is Eden actually a giant robot in secret? Is that what you two are hiding? Is Eden a Gundam? Interesting. And Laura also asked, in regards to Clementine and shards, but I don't suppose she was purifying all of them, was she? Not the ways we've seen her do it so far. Oh, that's a pretty good question. I'll say, you'll see. The Biscuit Eternal said, Eden is Voltron, takes Claire and both twins to pilot.
Is that the kind of robot anime that Voltron is? Is it like Pacific Rim where you need multiple people to like fuse their minds to pilot a robot?
They don't really need to fuse their minds, but each of their robots makes up a part of a giant robot. Like,
it's that kind.
Yeah, it's like one of them is a leg.
Mm-hmm, of
Or,
course. Wait, I thought one of them was one of them was made of a bunch of gay lions or something in space.
That's Voltron. Yes.
So they're all gay lions in space. Each one of them is a lion who turns into a leg.
Yes.
Okay.
Like, it's a giant robot made of metal lions, okay?
Oh.
I love Voltron, so I don't want to hear no shit.
I'm not saying anything shitty. The whole gay lion thing is a big appeal to me. It almost makes up for there not being enough girls in it for me to watch it.
I don't know. Speaking of my friend Ryan, who it feels like I'm going to be mentioning every 5 minutes, the last time I went to visit him in DC, he insisted that we watch Voltron on Netflix, and I had heard of it, of course, as a very young child, and really pissed off my older brother by playing with all of his toys of it, and apparently ruining them by putting them in my mouth. I think that made them even more vintage, but fine. I remember sort of drowning one in the toilet once. Sorry, Ray. But anyway, Ryan was like, hey, we should watch Voltron. And I'm like, isn't that really old? And he was like, no, Ash, they just did this new cartoon of it. It's really great. It reminds me a lot of Legend of Korra. And I'm like, okay, well, let's watch it. And, you know, it was one of those 5 hours later. It's like, I love this so much. I didn't know I could like a show like this that's pretty much all dudes.
At least Korra had girls in it.
Well, Voltron does too.
I just don't see any. Like, anytime people talk about it, I never see any girls in the fan art or anything.
Mm.
I want a show about girls who pilot gay robots in space and make a giant leg. A giant robot made out of legs. It'll be like the sexy lamp from A Christmas Story, but it's a robot and it kicks all the evildoers with a high heel made out of smaller legs.
I see. God, Elena. This is your next comic.
Yep.
You heard
this
it
was
here
the secret
first.
ending of Sister Claire.
Jeez. Kaylin Cunny asks, are you ever planning to go to some Comic-Con in the Northeast, say near New York or Philly? Yes, dear heart, we are going to go to Kineticon next year. At least that is the plan. I think we're also going to apply for FlameCon. They invited us this past year, but it was a bit too last minute for us to go. We had also just gotten a new puppy. So that would have been a very bad idea.
Well, we were invited not by FlameCon itself, but by Hiveworks, who was
you know.
who had booked like 20 million tables at the con.
Yeah.
We were helping to fund it or something like that.
Yeah, but I mean,
everybody I talked to who went had a really good time, and I really wish we could have gone, but the timing was not good.
Yeah, and I mean, we both were really interested in going, and it seemed like such a cool thing. All of our friends who went really loved it. So. I love Grim's little teeth.
People like my robot idea. See, my original ending would have been well received.
Y'all can't see my face over here, but I'm showing a lot of teeth.
Making the rat face.
Yeah.
God. I love Grim. Look at this angry little face.
I know.
This is the face Rosie makes when she's playing with other dogs.
Yeah. Speaking of going to cons and stuff in New York, even if we don't go to a convention within the next few months, and I mean, the conventions that we do have in mind to attend up there are next year, but we do visit New York occasionally, and whenever we do, we like to do a meetup. So keep your eyes on our social media, and just be aware that if we do travel up there, we'll probably haunt one of the local bubble tea establishments, and we'd be happy to see you. When is the Sister Claire bubble tea crawl? You know, there's not that many bubble tea places around here to crawl.
That's what I was going to say. Like, we would love to have one if there was more than 2 places that we knew of to go.
Yeah,
and they're not close together.
Yeah, there's Quickly in Morrisville, and then there's Randasia Market in Raleigh. And after that,
Bubble tea.
Bubble tea is also served at other establishments in the area, but they're usually Vietnamese restaurants, and while the food at those places is good, the bubble tea often leaves a lot to be desired. Jamala just asked, do you think you guys will come closer to Massachusetts or Rhode Island area next year? New York is a bit of a trip for me. We don't know, darling. If there is a local con that you would like to see us at, nudge them and tell them to invite us.
Yeah, it's really hard for us to afford going to very far away places unless the con offers to
reimburse us a little bit.
Yeah.
It's definitely not out of the question for us to drive. Like, our limit is about 6 to 7 hours of driving for us to go to a convention, especially if it's one we have never been to before. Our biggest exception to that rule is Connecticut. It takes us like 2 days of driving to get there, but they usually fund us to go, so that covers all of our transportation costs. And we make kind of a road trip out of it, and it's really such a great convention. We love Connecticut. I think that was the first one I ever did with you, wasn't it?
Was it?
Or was it an amazement?
No, it wouldn't. It wasn't an amazement.
No, it was Connecticut.
It's a good first con.
Laura asked, "Hey, are we ever going to find out Cecilia's magic?" Yes, you will.
Her magic is that you'll never find out.
There was some really good theorizing about her magic in the comments. How it must be, like, when you compare it to Morgan's magic, who is essentially dissolving walls by accident, it must be something that's really either painful or intrusive, and that's right on the money.
I want to say something, but it might be too much of a spoiler.
Don't say it, I know what you're going to say.
Do you really?
I knew it, yes. Whisper, whisper, whisper.
I want to say it because it's in the live stream and people who come here get to have special inside info.
Go ahead.
I'm not going to say what her ability is. I just want to say, ask yourself who else in the comic has been very hesitant to reveal what kind of magic they have.
Huh. Deep Inside a Volcano also wants to know, will we ever be in California? You know, dear heart, we had a plan this past summer, like the summer that still feels like it's upon us considering it's still warm outside. We had a plan over the past couple of months that we were going to go to California. It ended up not quite panning out, but we do want to go. We have friends there. Elena has family there, and I think it would be a lot of fun. Will we go to a convention there? I doubt it very much unless we're invited, just because it would cost us so much up front to get there that we usually make enough at cons to at least break even. And the thing about cons is that we don't just go to make a profit. We don't really need to do that. We go mostly to see people and have a good time, see our fans, and...
As much as we don't go specifically to make a profit, we also can't afford to go just at a loss. So
yeah, exactly.
That's why we have to be careful about spending how much we spend to get there.
Yeah. In regards to Cecilia, and who would be hesitant about revealing their power in the comic, Laura said, "Olga, is Cecilia a moonwolf too?" No, she isn't.
I'm talking about characters who have actually talked about being afraid to come out for what they are.
Mm-hmm. I like Grimm's little goblin paws.
Me too.
Oh. There's some good thoughts in the chat. Good job, Shiloh and Nikki. Beep bong. I love Grimm so much. Looks like a really angry guinea pig right now.
Is Oscar going to become a big dog confirmed?
I think they meant older.
Okay, I was really confused. I was like, well, that's an interesting theory. She is very sparkly. I could see her being a sparkle dog.
I'm shedding from stress. Jesus. People in the chat are saying Oscar the Borzoi, in reference to Oscar becoming a big dog. You know, I'm so jealous, y'all. A couple weeks ago, Elena took Rosie to the dog park, and she saw a dog that I have wanted to see in person my entire life. She met an Afghan hound. Her name was Georgina, and she sent me pictures of this glorious beast while I was at work, and I was so jealous.
Georgina was so beautiful. When my brother and I went to the park with Rosie, and as we entered the dog park, a bunch of little dogs ran toward us, and then we saw what looked like a glorious silver Muppet, like a living shampoo commercial, just galloping across the grass toward us. And both me and David went, oh, we both like sucked in a gasp at this like beautiful creature. And then she didn't actually want to play with the other dogs. She's actually kind of quiet and antisocial, so she went and laid on the grass to be fabulous by herself. And I went over to pet her, and she lifted her very elegant long head to look at me like, are you cool? And then when I didn't immediately start like harassing her or like biting her ass like all the other dogs did, she was like, okay, you're all right and you may pet me. And then she laid her head back down. But then Rosie came over to say hi and to see what I was up to, and then Georgina was like, screw this. And she stood up and galloped away.
Screw this.
All right, screw this.
No. But I'm so jealous that Elena and David got to meet Georgina, and I was stuck at work in my office, not getting to meet any glorious living shampoo commercial dogs. Ugh.
The old lady who owned Georgina was really proud of her because I kept commenting on how gorgeous she was, and I was like, yeah. She was like, I'm just so flattered. I'm going to take all the compliments. And I was like, you should. She is beautiful because you take good care of her. I'm good at charming old ladies. I know how to comment on their dogs so that they like me. I wanted to be accepted into the old lady small dog park clique. They come out there every day in the middle of the day with their like little folding chairs, and they unleash all of their little poodles and stuff into the dog park. And I really don't fit in because I'm not 60 plus years old, but I try to get in their good graces.
I hope it's not monsooning tomorrow so we can take Rosie to the dog park. Ever since we got back from the convention, Rosie has been... We can't tell if she's sad because she misses the dog she was playing with while we were away. Like, we had her pet sat by this other person who also owned a dog, and according to the person that pet sat Rosie, Rosie and this other dog spent 99.9% of our time away chewing on each other. So Rosie had a great time, and now she's come back into our house to live with us, and we love playing with her, and she'll play with us, But our dachshund, I don't want to say he hates Rosie. It's more like he acts like she doesn't exist.
He wants nothing to do with her, and it's really sad because she's gotten a lot better about playing gently with him. She would play nicely with him if he would just let her, but he doesn't want anything to do with her.
Yeah, he's a grumpy, old, crotchety man, and all he wants to do is guard his food and his possessions jealously and be a grouch. A little weenie grouch. Deep Inside a Volcano asked, is Rosie a dog? Is Rosie Oscar? No, Rosie is our dog. She's our golden retriever puppy. She is precious. But she seems so subdued, and it's sad, and we want her to be happy. We took her to the dog park yesterday, and at first she just kind of wandered around forlornly, even though there were other dogs who were trying to play with her. And at last she got into the groove a little bit and was chasing some other dogs and them chasing her, and it was great. And she's getting big enough now to where she doesn't just get rolled over every single time. She does still get rolled over some. But I want my little golden baby to be happy. Kaylin Connie asks, besides boba, what is your favorite food? Elena, you answer first.
Oh, that's really hard. I like a lot of Italian food because, Italian. I don't like spicy food, but I like things like Indian food when they're not spicy, but they very rarely are not overwhelmingly too hot for me to eat. So I don't really like those. Most anything with tomato and cheese is a good combo for me. How about you, Ash?
Let's see. A favorite food, that is really hard. I go through these obsessive phases, to be honest. My favorite food. I really like Indian food. I like spicy food, though. I'm still a white girl, and there's only so much even I can handle. But I do like spicy food. Lately I have become really obsessed with bell peppers. I really like them, y'all. I don't even know what spurred this on, but some days...
Are you pregnant?
I hope not. I don't know how it happened, so... no one has asked me that in almost ever, so... Shock. My initial reaction is, how dare you? You derailed my train of thought.
I'm sorry. Please tell me more about bell peppers.
But I really like bell peppers lately. I don't really know why. I like zucchini. No, I know what my favorite food is. It's asparagus.
Okay.
I love asparagus.
Oh, I forgot to say I really like sushi a lot.
I like sushi too, but I love asparagus.
Especially salmon is my favorite. I love salmon in almost any way. I love grilled salmon. I love raw salmon in sushi. I love salmon.
Nikki said, Ash is pregnant with a robot.
Mm-hmm.
That would be slightly more acceptable.
Immaculately.
Immaculately. Can the robot do cool things?
Yeah, it can turn into a giant leg. Also, it's a bunch of gay legs put together into one.
Sounds like my child.
Each one is a different color. This is my idea of Voltron.
God.
Why don't they just hire me to do a sequel?
Mm-hmm.
Girls and gay legs in space. They all form together into one giant lion.
Deep Inside a Volcano said, in regards to Rosie, be sure to check for signs of cancer and tumors when she's a little bit older. That's how my golden retriever went. Yeah, darling, we know. We read a lot about how Goldens over the past several years have been shown to develop cancer at higher rates. We're going to keep a really close eye on Rosie. And we've been reading a lot of mixed opinions as to when we should get her fixed. Some articles say before her first heat, like you normally would do with dogs. Some say wait until after her first one. That will greatly decrease the chances of her getting cancer later, and that's what our vet said. But we're not going to be here when she goes through that, most probably. We will be traveling, and she will be being pet sat by somebody, and I don't know. I don't feel super comfortable leaving that unattended. We'll have to see the closer we get to that time. We care a lot about Rosie.
I think we have some friends who I would trust to take her to the vet for us.
Yeah, I know. But still, I don't really want her to have to go through some operation like that with us not here.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, Kaylin Connie said, I make a mean stuffed bell pepper. I've never had one. You know that? I have never had one, but I've been looking up recipes, and they look like God incarnate.
I think you might want to make them just for you, because I've never had one that I liked. But I also really don't like very cooked bell pepper. They taste slimy to me, and I really dislike that texture.
Yeah, to be perfectly honest, me too. I mean, I'll eat a bell pepper just about any way, I have discovered, but I like them better when they are crispy a little bit.
I'm kind of like that with vegetables in general, though. I don't like vegetables that are cooked to death or that come from a can.
I was really hoping this weekend that we could take Rosie on a nice hike. She's gotten a lot better. She's gotten a lot better about walking on a leash lately. Mm-hmm. She does still pull some, but I would say we're working on it, but let's be real. Ellen has been the one who's been mostly working on it. She's home with Rosie a heck of a lot more than I am, since she works from home most of the time. But insert hurricane.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know how the weather's going to be tomorrow, and if it's nasty, then I don't want to go on a hike.
Yeah. I think if it's just drizzly like today, it could be all right.
Yeah.
Rosie won't care.
At the very least, if it's drizzly, I think we should take her to the dog park.
Yeah.
And let her run around some, because she didn't get to today.
Mm-hmm. Mercury cat looks like Luna.
Yeah.
And not Luna the cat, but like Luna the Lupo's dog.
Oh, Deep Inside a Volcano wants to know what happened to your nibbling kitten. Did someone take her? If you mean Cookie, yeah, we rehomed her several months ago, and she's doing quite well.
Mm-hmm.
What's her name now?
Her name is Newt now.
That's a good name. For, like, a familiar.
Mm-hmm.
Newt, the salamander.
I always think of her as Cookie.
Yeah.
For me, Newt will always be your parents' dog.
Oh, Westy from the East said about the hurricane, I'm just glad you're not getting the worst of it. We had a bunch of branches pound our house. Where are you, darling? I hope that you're okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're obviously okay enough to be here, but I hope your house is okay. Arwen Trow wants to know, how is Aang and Kinkle?
They're doing good. They're getting uh, a little better at handling Rosie, who is less aggressive about chasing them now, but still very curious. Um, she really likes to try to play with Aang. Winkle will usually not even give her the opportunity to get close enough to her to try, but Aang will be chill enough to like walk past her or sit next to her, and then Rosie will stare at him and then do the play bows and like jump around, and Aang will look at her unimpressed,
Yeah.
and then she'll like start stepping on him, and he goes and he like rolls over, gets stepped on some more, finally gets tired of it and swats her in the face and runs away.
My favorite is when Rosie wants to play with him so desperately that she just walks over to him and puts his entire head in her mouth.
Like a little softball.
Yeah. And I mean, she doesn't bite or anything. She just holds his head very tenderly in her jaws. And Aang sits there and goes,
It's because she's a golden, it's what she does. She likes to have things in her mouth. Goodbye, Blaze.
Bye, Blaze. Hope you're okay. Oh, Westy from the East said that they're in the Orlando area. Wow, yeah, I hope you're doing okay. My brother is also sheltering there. My brother's in the military, and he normally lives right down next to the coast in Melbourne area, but they evacuated. His house is like a block from the beach. He's hoping that when he goes back, his house is not partially submerged. Can I borrow the power cable?
Yeah.
Thank you, Edie. Oh, thinking about Rosie makes me want to squish her bull face.
Mm-hmm. I love how soft her face is.
She's pretty much all soft. And I really like putting my face in her fur. And the other night, when she was chewing on her bully stick, she was chewing it so nicely in the middle of the living room. And I got down on my belly on the carpet right next to her and eased over to her, and I put one of my arms around her. And she cuddled up into the curve of my body and angled her bully stick just so I could smell the noxious fumes coming off of it and out of her mouth as she chewed it. So I really appreciated the thought, but I don't know. I like having a dog that is big that I can cuddle. Zeke is great, but he's the size of a football. So
That's part of the reason I really wanted a big dog, so that they feel like something substantial when you hug them.
Laura, that's a great idea.
Well, see, the thing about giving them treats when they're together is that sometimes they will try to steal them from each other, which is really counterproductive to making them like each other. And especially as Zeke has been getting really protective of food lately.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it's the best.
Something that they do really well together with is training. Like, if we have these little treats that look almost like oyster crackers, the kind that you would put in soup, and the dogs love them. They
like the crunch.
Yeah, they like the crunch. The treats themselves, we've heard, don't taste like much of anything.
I mean, I have tasted them, and they don't taste like much of anything.
See, Elena likes to taste test all of the dog treats just to make sure that they're good enough for our creatures. But we have these little treats that look like oyster crackers, and when we're training Rosie, Zeke likes to come over and do the tricks with her and all the commands and stuff, so he can get a treat too. And he gets very upset now if we're doing training within his sight with Rosie and he can't get to us, so he can come over and participate. And they also ride really well in the car together. Like, they'll lay down side by side and they don't fight or anything. They don't even usually fight when they're at home. It's just that he ignores her. And she desperately wants him to play with her.
Your yawn reminded me of Rosie. Rosie has this really cute habit of howling when she yawns. And today she did it really loud, and she did it like 3 times in a row. And my brother was talking to my parents on Skype, and they heard it from another room. It was so cute. One day I need to just get a video of her doing it. You like this shirt?
I really like this shirt on you. I like the color a lot. It's my favorite color. I love the little claw. Just.
That's the Venus cat.
Wow. Westy from the East said, on the upside, because of a curfew due to the hurricane, I got 4 days in a row off work. You lucky, lucky person, you. I really wish that I would get 4 days in a row off work.
I wish I could have a mountain of medicine.
Laura asked, hey, in the comic, are we about to get diary narration? Yes, you are.
I thought you were about to say something else.
What?
I thought you started to say diary, and I thought you were going to say diary.
God, Elena.
What?
No.
No?
Though you should tell the chat about that commercial we saw today.
Oh my God, we went to get sushi, and they have this TV that's always playing when we're at this sushi restaurant that we like to frequent. And they played this commercial, and I had to interrupt what Ash was saying to make her watch because it was so funny. So it was a commercial for this irritable bowel syndrome medication or medicine that will help for people who have that. And they had a woman who was the physical embodiment of this poor protagonist's like diarrhea. And the commercial starts with the protagonist is sitting at her cubicle working, and her coworker comes up and he's like, "Hey, are you ready for that big meeting?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure, I'll be right there." And then the chair next to her spins around, and it's this woman in this full body, like flesh-toned bodysuit, and she has a digestive tract sewn onto her, and she has bright red hair, and she's like, we are double booked. You can't go to that meeting. You've got diarrhea and stomach cramps. Like, the commercial continues with like the lady trying to go to the meeting, and the embodiment of her diarrhea follows her there, and was like harassing her the whole time. And I just thought it was genius. Seems like a commercial I would have written.
Yeah, it really does.
It really does.
Fingernail girl, Jesus.
Someone said there's a whole series of those. Now I'm going to go to YouTube and find them. Is there like a fan club for the embodiment of diarrhea? Because I kind of want to draw fan art of her. I bet there's not any fic yet. I can be the big fan on campus. I ship this lady and her diarrhea. You should see them. I think I actually have seen another commercial of them, and they're like riding on a 2-person bicycle together.
God. This is how desperate we are for representation, y'all. This is why we write the comic, okay?
Yeah. Oh, dear. I apologize to everyone who came in just now and has no idea what I'm talking about. This is all being recorded, so you can enjoy it many a time in the near future.
You can find it later with context.
Yeah. Laura said, riding on a 2-person bicycle, someone should draw Oscarine doing that. But will we mention that it was inspired by a diarrhea commercial? Like, I saw this commercial for irritable bowel syndrome medicine, and it reminded me of my OTP. Get it? OTP.
Okay.
TP for toilet paper.
I get it.
I just wanted to make sure
it.
you got it.
Jesus.
Oh, good night, Karen. Oh my god, I thought that was something else. That was the ice machine.
Are you okay? Like, is your brain just literally just like dragging itself through like
I'm sorry. I think that when I started thinking about that experience at the state fair, it kind of set the tone for the evening.
what experience at the state fair?
The one that you didn't want me to talk
God,
about.
Elena, can we just not? Let's not traumatize our poor readers the way we ourselves were traumatized.
Okay, I won't. I'm not saying anything else about the incident.
Mommy. Oh, a question for you, Elena, from Laura. Oh no. Sorry, I was trying to stop yawning while I read this. When you're drawing clothes for people in Throne of Mare and for people in the present time mainland, are you trying to have a separate style? I feel like they have very distinctive vibes, which is cool.
Yes, I do try to give all of the locations kind of their own style. I try to base um, a lot of the different locations in Sister Claire on real places. And although I don't really pick from any specific time period, I look at traditional clothes of that area, and I usually try to make the outfits kind of based on those. I'm actually, speaking of outfit designs, well, of course, for Throne of Mare, it's mostly based on France, and so I look at historical French clothing, and I usually stylize it a lot. The exception would be Catherine, because she has kind of an avant-garde couture for her shop, so it's a little bit more like what a modern hipster girl might wear, or not even hipster, but like it's a lot more modern, the style of dresses that she designs. But Oscar wears like tunics and kind of what a medieval person might wear. Mama wears Persian-inspired clothing. I don't know, Zach. I think that the experience is one that's really best told out loud. Maybe if you go to the Not Safe for Work thing tomorrow, maybe I can talk about it there because it won't be recorded. So. Oh, but I was gonna say, speaking of outfit design, I had a lot of ideas for Claire's new outfit on the latest page, but because I had to work on it really last minute, it doesn't quite look how I wanted, and I'm probably going to go back and edit that page to change her outfit a tiny bit. Because I only had time to do some uncolored sketches of it, and it didn't quite come out how I had intended, so I'm probably going to tweak it a bit. In an ideal world, I have hours to spend just tweaking color settings and figuring out the ideal design for something that I'm going to be drawing for probably half a year in this chapter.
The chapter will go a lot quicker than that. It's not nearly as long as the last chapter.
Yeah, and it's... It occurs to me that I really shouldn't have stretched this picture out quite so far, because for some people, it'll get cut off. Yeah. Any more questions, Ash?
Laura asked, are the twins' outfits changing?
I haven't really thought about that yet. They're not going to appear immediately, so I'm kind of taking things as they go. But they might, because it's about time for them to have a little bit of an outfit change. I don't know if it's going to be so much their whole outfit changes, but maybe I'll do something different with their hair. I really like to show character development with their outside changing too.
Joe asked, how long has it been since the big shard was purified? A few days? Weeks? Just a few days. Like, if it has been weeks, it's only been a couple. Claire's group is not moving. Like, they're still next to that lake where the big shard was purified. Joe said, "Is the big kitty going to drag Oscar back to Claire and company? Just grab her by the scruff of her shirt and run off with her?" We'll see. Deep inside a volcano asked, "Yamino and Ash, will we ever see Sister Claire in the style of the animated movie Red Line? I'm asking for a friend." "I don't know what that is, darling."
I don't know what that is either.
Laura asked, "Oh, are we soon to get more info on the zapping at them purification style Clementine used to create blessings?" Maybe.
I like this wallpaper.
I like it too. It's a good one.
I love little Grim in the middle. I'm going to stop the recording here because I'm going to run to the bathroom.
Okay.
And the coloring will be a part 2 video. So if you're watching this on YouTube, please keep an eye in the description or in the sidebar, I don't know where it'll be, for the part 2 of this wallpaper progress. And don't forget to subscribe if you're not already so you don't miss a thing. See you next time.